Welcome to something special. Welcome to TEDx. This TEDx event is part of a global conversation that takes place every day in every corner of the world. In schools, in theaters, in workplaces, even in prisons, people gather to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. More than 3,000 TEDx events are held every year in 170 countries. It's a remarkable thing. TEDx events are self-organized under a license from TED, a non-profit organization devoted to discovering and sharing powerful ideas in the form of TED Talks. It's not TED itself, but your local TEDx team of volunteers that has done all the work to put on today's event, including booking all of the speakers. It's this team's ideas, dedication, and time that have made this possible. We really hope today's program sparks an exciting conversation. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you will take out. And now, on with the show.
Here, the title, I would like to change a little bit. Wood as a regrowable resource, not just renewable. When I say renewable, you think about recycling stuff. Like maybe you pick up some old plastic, recycle it. You use old paper, recycle it. Even somebody said the jeans, I can get the old jeans and recycle the fabric, right? So that's recycle. But if you really think about the material on Earth, only the live thing can regrow. We can grow. So for example, here I'm going to talk about some construction material. Some people use bamboo, some people use wood, right? It's regrowable. If I cut down a bamboo, I can grow a bamboo. So bamboo basically is a plant, right? It can grow. But think about the other thing, like metal, like steel, like aluminum, like concrete, or even fabric, or brick, stone. Can you grow them? No way, right? So sooner or later, we will run out of those things. For example, we talk about all these EV, right? All the cell phone. One thing in common, we have a lithium batteries in it, right? And where the lithium come from? Mining. And the lithium supply is not unlimited. Sooner or later, one day, we will run out of lithium. Then the other big problem with lithium is we don't know how to deal with it. After it is finished, you dig a big hole and bury it, that's it, right? Or shoot it to outer space, because Elon Musk is developing SpaceX, maybe someday he shoot his battery out of outer space, right? So think about the chance that we will come into this material problem, very critical problem, if we don't deal with something that can regrow. Now the next thing, since David asked me to share something that will be international and have a great business sense. I think a lot of you are here from the business management school, right? The first question in Finance 101, how to become a successful business. Somebody give me an answer, quick. I have only 10 minutes, now I have only 8 minutes, no, 8.5 minutes. So what's you guys all took Finance 101, so what's the first answer for a good business? Money, okay, you have money to burn, but then you lose your shirt. So that's not a good business, just money, no. Idea, okay. What about demand? You got to have a market out there. If you're an artist, or I'm not saying artist is not good, but just you do something you like yourself, but nobody uses it. There's no market, there's no business. Then when there is a market, the second thing in Finance 101 tells you, you need what? Supply. You need quality supply to satisfy the demand. Then the next thing is what? You need to know how to take the supply, move to the demand side. Then you have a good business. Then money is no problem. I don't even need to ask anybody for money, because money will just come in if you do that. So now the next thing, I want to share some number here. Another question. You know China has grown so much in terms of GDP, in terms of export, import. Okay, what China GDP is in the world right now and what position? You guys know, right? Second, and of course number one is US, right? Then the second thing I want to ask you, as far as export, is China number one? And US is number two, right? Then for import, US is number one, and China is number two. But if you look at the per capita GDP, there's a big difference. US is still the number 5 on the per capita GDP, but China 63. What does that tell you? That means China have a lot of people, but not many are rich. That's why we have a low per capita GDP here. That means we should not just base on our export, and because we all call China is a world factory, that's true. But if you look at last year, you can see so many factories closed down. Why? Because there's nothing to export. Nobody on the outside are shopping. They're not buying. Then we're dead, right? So if we only rely on export to become a dominating country in the world, forget it. It won't work. Look at Japan. Since 80s, they're going nowhere because they are not really developing their own domestic market. So domestic market is the key to be successful. That's why I want to share with you. You see a lot of construction going out everywhere in China, and people even joke the national bird of China is crane, right? You understand what I mean? So in construction, we use so many different material, but in the old days, very old days, we used wood or stone, or all things come from nature. So some people try to demonize the people who use wood because they cut down a lot of wood and destroy rainforests. You guys know what this has come from. It is part of my old uniform. I work for this place. You know what that is? Do you know what that is? NASA. So when you really, I used to work on the space station program, so when you really look on the Earth from up there, it looks very terrible. Terrible in a sense. Look at the forest. A lot of those forests are gone, but a lot of people just say Amazon is a problem. But do you know the deforestation is a problem everywhere in the world? This picture is from Indonesia, in Asia. And then we also have problem in Africa. We also have problem in Northern Europe, like Finland or Norway, because of the biofuel requirement. They cut down on oil, but they burn a lot of wood, so they cut down a lot of trees. Even in the US, they have problem too. They also get these trees going away, and actually we are cutting 15 billion trees a year. We are losing 28 million acres a year. So all that means we have this sad polar bear because the climate change, too warm, they don't have time to hibernation, they don't sleep enough, they need a lot of food, so they're starving, they're dead. So we will lose species. And like a lot of these, David told me when he flew to US, looked down from the sky, a place become a desert. But I told him that's not a desert. So this is a big problem right here. Let's go back to the basic. Using wood is not evil as long as you know how to use it or you manage the use of wood. So when we manage the forest, for example, FSC, the Forest Stewardship Council told us cut maybe like 10 trees per year per acre. When we cut a tree, we plant a tree, and if the tree has food for animal, we don't cut it. And if the tree is a habitat for some animal, we don't cut it. So as long as we don't do that, we do that, our managed forests actually perform better than the natural forest. More birds, more animals running around, trees are healthy, more leaves, more branch, not just like those natural trees, only leaves on the top, like cattle. As long as we manage our forests, we can use the wood in many nice ways like this. A lot of architects, because particularly in China, they think using wood has a lot more problem because of wood will rot. And then they use other material, and you can see all these material look terrible. So at the end, if we use real wood from like Brazil, they are really hard wood, they are rot resistant, and we can have used that kind of wood for many, many years without a problem. Like we have on Coney Island, using wood for like 25, 30 years on the boardwalk, still good. So as long as we know what to do with the wood and use it wisely from your managed forest, there is a big opportunity, because the demand is there. We want green city, we want to use more wood, less man-made material. And that's why a lot of architects in China now, they try to use more wood. So this is a big opportunity, because we have so many constructions, we need wood. And as long as you can tell them the wood is going to last, it will be good business opportunity. Thank you.